Well. What do we have here? What do we have here? I'll tell you what we have here is we have a blower right outside the door blowing off grass particles. Hopefully he'll be done soon. So let's see. Giles is here. Hey, Giles. Long time no talk to. Kyle. Yes, indeed. Daniel. Rafa. Living Water CYA. Oh, CVA. Sorry about that. Andrew's here. Marie's here. Otis is here. Sam is here. Oh my gosh. It's a party. I am glad you guys are here. I am indeed. So, and Tim's here. All right. And Michael's here. Michael Graves. A long time no talk to. And Dean's here. Hello, Dean. Welcome, sir. Glad to see you. Golly gee, it's an international party. Delighted that you guys are here. Yep. Thank you so much for honoring me and tuning in. I'm loving it. So let's see. Oh, Kenny's here. Kenny, do I owe you an email or a message or something? Sorry about that if I do. Golly gee. So today we're going to talk about replay, the new vMix 24 replay. We're going to do a deeper dive into that. And if you haven't ever seen the replay, you'll get a chance to see it. I am not a skilled replay operator, but I play one on TV. That's right. Oh my gosh. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun. We can have fun with it together. But I do want to show off some of the new toys that are in the vMix replay, because I think you're going to enjoy that. And if you are a replay person, or if you're thinking about doing replay, I think you will see some value in that. This is the one show where social distancing is not required. You can be as close as you want. Yes. No, glad to have you here. Glad to have you here. Let's see. Automation from vMix is welcome. Well, and I mean, glad you're here. And Giles, the creation of automation for vMix, is here. So how about that? So there you go. It's Old Home Week with Kenny and Giles and Marie. And not that Marie's old. She's young. Everybody else is old. All right. Gunner's here. Welcome, sir. Glad to have you. And let's see. I need to double check over 1 second. If y'all just talk amongst yourselves, just need to check over on the Streaming Idiots group and make sure that is, make sure that's streaming. It doesn't look like it is. Hold on. Did I break it? No, there it is. And it is live. Okay, great. So, hey, if you're watching on the Streaming Idiots group, if you're watching in the Streaming Idiots group, you don't get to be in this chat. I'm sorry, because Facebook has not allowed programs like vMix that grab APIs and comments and things like that. It hasn't allowed, because of privacy settings, to grab comments out of a group. So if you'd like to make a comment in this comment, please do, but you'll have to come over to easternshorebroadcasting.com or go to our YouTube page, which is the same feed, and get the chat. So there you go. Nick is here. Welcome, Nick. Glad you're here. Rich is here. Holy cow. When is vMix 25 being released? Rich, you're just a troublemaker. He's just a troublemaker. Holy cow. Rich is going to be in South Florida. Is it next month, Rich? Post your time and day there, so that people are in the area can come and come see your setup. I bet they'd love to see it, and if you've got time to show. Sorry, so we're going to get rid of that page so that we can see this page, so that we can see what else is going on. All right, good. And forgive the background information, the background noise. For some reason, the lawn care provider for my shopping complex, not mine, but where I rent, has decided that Wednesday afternoon is a really good time to come in and cut the grass and then take a blower and blow everything away. Oh, Rich says it's this weekend and the following weekend in Naples, Florida. If you haven't ever been to Naples, you'll love it. You'll love it. It's a beautiful spot. All right. Let's see who else we got here that's new. Nobody else has slipped in since I looked last. We are coming up on time here in 2 minutes and 22 seconds, 2:17. Having a blast here in the studio. The studio is overrun, as I may have mentioned to you before, overrun with gear because we're building PCs right and left, having tons of fun, shipping out bird dog cameras and bird dog keyboards and all sorts of other gear, shoving Yuan capture cards into our new PCs. What else? X keys. Oh my gosh, X keys. People are buying X keys right and left. We're using the XK, the XK80 today, which I have done a custom, unique configuration on that suits me to a T. I even have a cough button that works perfectly for me. So if you're interested in X keys, we have got X keys. Yes, we do. Yes, we does. We does have X keys. It's going to be interesting to see. I need to talk with TJ and see how we can get the X keys replay controller updated to use 10 cameras. Excuse me, 8 cameras, which is the new vMix 24. So we'll have to see how that does. We're using vMix 24 today, vMix 3.4, which is the original beta release. They haven't updated it yet, but my guess is they're gathering together some minor bugs and they're going to catch them. Hello, Jamie. Welcome. Jesper's here. Welcome. Jason's here. Hot dog. CJSO 101.7 is here. Welcome. Glad to have you. We're using the vMix. You're not supposed to use the vMix betas. vMix says don't use vMix betas for live production, but you know, this is the Streaming Idiot show. Where would we be if we weren't doing something idiotic like using the beta for live production? But it's been great. We haven't had any hiccups. Haven't had any. Yes, Jason, I need a yawn button. That's right. Something that replaces the graphic with another face so that I can yawn and get away with it. But no, you should not use this beta for production. vMix, has already said don't use this beta for production. And of course, that's exact. Oh, it's Jean. Welcome, Jean. Glad to have you, sir. So don't use it for production unless, of course, you're an idiot. So no, but seriously, don't. I mean, Rich, are you using the beta for production this weekend in Naples? He's going to do the jet ski racing in Naples, Florida. And I would be interested to know if you think you might be using the beta. Yeah, it looks like we've come up on start time here. So just another minute or two to let folks gather, and then we will get into the Equinox Productions is here. Good evening. Welcome. Glad to have you. Yes, indeedy. And what else is going on in the great grand world of live streaming? Lots of stuff, really. But vMix 24 it's like, cutting edge. Incredible. What was it? Somebody was saying to me, I think it was in a, Rich is like, I'm not that big of an idiot. I'm not doing a beta. Okay. I was just checking. Sometimes you can border on idiotic, so I just wanted to make sure. Somebody was chatting with me. Where were we chatting? Probably on Facebook, and talking about vMix and vMix 24 and the 8-camera replay that is now vMix 24, the beta version anyway. And Theater Maker, well, thank you. I'm back, and you're back. Glad you're here. And And who is that? Is that Kyle? That's Chaps Productions? I can't ever remember. I am so sorry. Anyway, so vMix 24, we were chatting back and forth, and they said that that vMix 24 was with instant replay was now approaching an EVS level of production, and I'm thinking, yeah, but you're not getting EVS, you're not getting EVS pricing. Hello, Derek. Glad you're here. And so, if you are interested, yeah, the vMix 4. If you want to get the beta, you can get the beta by going to forums, plural, forums.vmix.com, and go to the general discussion section. You'll see the vMix 24 preview, I think is what they call it, a preview. And you can download it, and it'll install right over vMix 23 or whatever vMix you're using. And if you don't like it, or if you want to change back, you can change back just by reinstalling version 23 on top of it. There's no problem with that. That process works pretty flawlessly. And again, if you're just joining us and you hear the background noise, sorry about that. We've got somebody with a blower out there blowing little teeny weeny grass particles off of, it's Jacob, of course. Sorry about that, Jacob. Blowing little teeny grass particles off the parking lot. Go figure. So we will work all that out. We will work all that out. And if not, we'll just plow through it. We will plow through it. Boris is here from Croatia. Welcome. Glad to have you, sir. Glad you're here. We're going to talk about vMix 24. We're getting warmed up right now in the pre-show. Let me get my notes out where I can see them. Need a little sip of lemonade here. Excuse me. This is for real lemonade. Oh, boy, that's great. Oh, the blower turned off. That's a good sound. Maybe it'll stay that way. So, vMix 24, you can download it from the vMix website and then revert back to your previous version. If you've never ever had vMix, I don't know if you can download I guess you can download the beta as the first time and use it as a trial. Theater Maker said he used beta last night as his vMix call system. 8 calls in, NDI out to his Vision mixer. No problems, but it wasn't that important as a stream. Well, it's interesting that you would use the beta. I don't know that the beta's got any. Oh, there's the blower again. I don't know that the beta's got any toys that will benefit you. Not sure. Go Seahawks. Welcome. Is it Hakan? Hakan? Help me on some pronunciation there. Yep. Rich is going to be in Naples, Florida. He's all over the place. So, and you can find Rich, probably easiest way to get a hold of him is going to be through Facebook in the Streaming Idiots group. If you haven't joined the Streaming Idiots group on Facebook, please come join us. There's always a conversation going on about live streaming. We welcome newbies if you're just starting out. It's a good, safe place to ask questions and not get flamed for not knowing the answers to what the rest of us would call newbie questions, but that's okay. You got to start where you are. Got to start where you are. And I are getting tired of this blower guy. All right, well, let's get this show on the road, and we'll see. If you're just joining us, welcome. Glad you're here. We're going to start out with the show. We're using our trusty X Keys XK80, and there is a button here called FTB, Fade to Black, Part 1, which there used to be a Part 2, but now it's just Part 1, does everything. And that is how we're going to start this show. So sit tight, and here we go. There we go. All right. Welcome. I'm Tom Sinclair. This is Streaming Idiots. This is this is the place where everybody, I think, can feel comfortable, because sooner or later in live streaming, you know, you just feel like an idiot. You do something dumb, like, forget to turn on the recording or some such like that. Let me get that out of the way so it's not. You can see the glare off my glasses. I apologize for that. We've got lots going on the screen today, but I'm delighted to have you with me, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your day or your evening to tune in. We're going to be talking about today. We're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, vMix. vMix live streaming software, which of course we're using to do this, and we are resellers for vMix here in the U.S., but we serve the entire globe. So if the exchange rate is favorable to you to buy something here in the States, then by all means you can go to our website. Actually, that QR code will take you to the website, easternshorebroadcasting.com, and we are happy to serve you as a vMix reseller, plus all the other cool gear that we've got there from Bird Dog and PTZ Optics and Uon and Magewell and the like. Go take a look. And that's what this show. The show is sponsored by Eastern Shore Broadcasting. That's how we make our living, and it is also the official. I guess probably the official sponsor, although it doesn't really say it anywhere. The official sponsor of Streaming Idiots. Would invite you, if you're watching us on YouTube, to like this video. That really helps us get some better visibility within the YouTube world, and I think it really, the more likes you get, the more times the video is suggested. And I think this video, since we're going to be talking about vMix version 24 beta instant replay, is going to be an important one for folks to see, because there's some really, really cool things in the vMix beta that we want people to know about. Let me bring up my my chat here. There we go. Tommy is here. Welcome, Tommy. Glad you're here. If you can't get here on time, just show up whenever you can. Pastor Errol is here. Glad to have you. Is that George, USA BMX? Okay. Anyway, sorry, getting off subject. So yes, we represent vMix. We represent lots of great companies, and Streaming Idiots is sort of our outreach to the streaming world to say, hey, we're here, and we know a little something, and we can help you out a whole bunch. So let's see, what is going on in the world of live streaming that's really significant today. Generally I make notes about this kind of thing, but that section of my note sheet is just blank. So let's just dive into it then. About 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, vMix released the long-awaited beta, what they call a beta, I guess because it's got an E as the second letter in the word. The beta of the long-awaited vMix 24 with the instant replay as the main focus in the software. vMix, Martin Sinclair, the developer of vMix, no kin that we know of, although we're probably 19th cousins. You notice the last name is the same. Has rewritten vMix instant replay. It's been out there for a while, and has had a lot of feedback over the years. Why can we have more cameras? Can you separate the A and B outputs? Can you do this? Can you do that? And he's listened very carefully, and he said, yeah, let's do some of that. So he went back to the drawing board, kind of rewrote it in a way that I think makes it more efficient, but yet at the same time allows it, well, it's got to be more efficient because we're now using 8 video resources, up to, get this, 8, number one, there's used to be 4, now there are 8. It used to be capped, I think, at 60 frames a second. Now it's capped at 240 frames a second. So you can imagine 8 cameras, 240 frames a second of video. That's a lot of processing. On top of that, it'll also go up to 4K. So you now have in the software, the hardware is a different ballgame, but in the software, you've got the ability to ingest 4 4K cameras at 240 frames per second. I mean, it just boggles the mind how much data that is. Holy cow. And do instant replay on those cameras. It's going to be super, super cool. We are going to, here in the Streaming Idiots lab, we're going to build a prototype big enough to handle all of that. They currently recommend an 18 core. Yes, you heard right, an 18 core, not 8 core, but 18 core CPU to run this rascal. So we're gonna build a prototype and see if we can't break it. That's what we're going to try to do. We'll try to break it. Anyway, so eight cameras, 240 frames a second, up to 4K. That is, and the recording that you can get out of this, if you want to, is vMix, the vMix API, and it's a 422 video format. For some of you, that's really, really important, up to 4K. It will also do progressive and interlaced. Now, on the ingest side, the camera side, all the cameras have to be the same in terms of resolution and progressive or interlaced. I'm not sure. We'll have to check and see if all have to be the same frame rate or not. We want to double check that, because if you end up with one that's got 240 frames a second, that means all of them would have to be. Another big deal is that vMix has expanded the number of events. Well, let me show you. I think I've got a capture here that I can show all that. Let's do this first of all. So we'll take that one there. And then I've got, this is what the, now we've got a dog in the background. The blower has gone away, but we have a dog to go with it. So yeah, let me get this set for you right here. So this is what the vMix instant replay looks like. If you've never seen it before, you can see me over there in the two teeny windows. I'm in Windows 5 and 6, and then above me I'm inputs 5 and 6, and above me are inputs 1, 2, and 3. Inputs 4, 7, and 8 are blank because I just didn't have enough cameras. Actually, these two are a Logitech C920 right here, and then a Bird Dog P100 right there. And then above me, we've got some video clips that I'll turn on and play in just a second. Over to my right, to your left, will be the monitors, the A and the B. The A is the one with me, doing the thinker thing, and then the B is the huddle in basketball. Directly below me, you can see the lines there. Those are 3 clips that I've made earlier, and then below that are the various controls. And then above the clips, you can see a series of tabs, and you can see, let me get my mouse over here, you can see that the tabs have titles. Yes, that's new. You can now title the tabs. So I've got a first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. I've got a blue team shot and a white team shot. And then I was following number 21, so I thought if I had a good clip, I could put it on his page. And then down here, I'm not using 8 through 18, but then 19 and 20. 19 is my export bin for Twitter, and 20 is my export bin for Facebook, so I can export that. Not that it's going to go directly to Twitter or Facebook, but that it'll go to a file, and then from that file, I can export to those. And in fact, the file can be a shared file, so that I can have a third party either here on site, or say if it's a Dropbox or something like that, somebody off-site can take that clip that ends up in Dropbox on their end and upload it for me live during whatever the activity is. So as a way to try to gin up more interest, gin up more viewers. And so we can look down here in the export for Facebook. We can see I've got one clip there. In fact, let me show you how that exports. It's pretty cool. Right down here in the bottom corner, we've got a little button that says Export Clips. Well, it can't get much easier than that. It brings up a window, and the window says, what's your export folder? Well, I've got an export folder called IR, Instant Replay Test 2, because I did Test 1 last week, export. And the name of the folder is going to be, the name of the file is going to be test. The quality is the vMix AVI, or I can use an MP4, high quality or medium quality. And then I've got the choice to select clips or send them all. I've just got one clip, so we'll send it. and then pow, it's exported. It's gone. That's there. That was pretty cool. So let's go back to our first quarter. I've got 3 clips here, and we'll say, okay, well, let's see. Let's go back to export and see that this is number 4, clip number 4. So let's see. Let's take clip number 1, and we are going to copy it to the export to Facebook folder, or excuse me, bin. So there, bam, it's copied. So now we have number 4 there, and we can take number 4 and we can cut it, we can copy it, we can paste it, we can duplicate it, we can move it, we can copy it, we can remove it. There are lots of options, and I got to that by just simply right-clicking that clip. So let's see, we'll go back to first quarter. Just to give you some orientation here, the numbers here, these are my in and out points, and these are actually adjustable. I can put my mouse on this in point and hold it down and change the in and out portion. You see the numbers move as I move that. I can edit in and out. Of course, that changes the duration. I can do the same thing for the speed. I can start at 100 and I can drop it down to a lower speed if I want to, just for that clip. I can include other cameras, so I can include the output 2, which is really camera 1 in this setup, and then I might include the one of my cams right here just for fun. So when I export that, we'll export this one to Twitter now. I'll right-click it. Whoops. Let's go back to it. Now we'll right-click it, and I'm going to copy it to the Twitter so that I can export it from there. So I'm going to go to my Twitter folder, and again, we're going to export, and we probably should give it a different name, but in this case, we would have a different name, and then pow, you can see there it is exported. That was actually both of them. Other things that are new in this, we've got 20 events. We can name events. We can export on the fly like that. We also have new the replay multi-view. So this is going to be kind of like your work surface right here. But if you wanted a traditional multi-view where you could see a larger version of the cameras, I'm going to just turn it on as a full screen. So it's going to roll right over this screen. And that's the multi-view. So now we've got the A and B as our top left and top right inputs, and then the 8 cameras, and you see all of them are numbered and named, output 2, output 3, output 4, and then the NDI Bird Dog and the Pro Webcam C920. The others are blank and there's nothing in them. And right now that's a full screen that just covers this screen. So you can put that on any monitor that is attached to your PC. Really, really pretty cool. What I didn't catch the other day, and let me go back to just to the main shot for just a second. What I didn't catch last week when I was kind of giving you the overview of the vMix 24 replay, and this is really cool, is that the replay is now configured in such a way that it can be used with not 1, but 2 replay controllers at the same time. And I need to get some clarification from vMix on exactly how that works, but they have said that and in the past, vMix would work with the JL Cooper controller and the Shuttle Pro V2 controller, and then of course the X-Keys replay controller, and there may have been some others that it would work with as well. But now it will work with 2 of those at a time, and I'm not sure whether they listed that it was the JL Cooper and the Shuttle Pro version 2, V2, and I'm not sure if it can only be 1 of each or whether it can be 2 of one or 2 of the other. And we'll be interested to follow up some more on that, and also to see if the X-Keys can have 2 X-Keys, for example. So it would be really amazing to be able to have essentially two 4-camera replays in one. I can't imagine somebody good enough to handle 8 cameras at a time, but there are times when you would need to. So to figure, 2 replay controllers, 8 cameras, up to 240 frames a second, up to 4K, it's going to take a beast of a PC to make this work. And that's what we're going to build here to find out and see just how it could possibly work. Just to give you an idea, again, not a skilled replay controller, but let me go ahead and fire this guy up again, and we'll activate our cams so that they're working. And you can see we've got cameras 1, 2, and 3, which are really in my vMix outputs 2, 3, and 4, because they're not cameras, they're videos. So I had to send them to an output to have them be available. And then let's see. So let's make a clip real quickly. Let's go to second quarter, because that'll be blank. And we're going to follow the action here for just a second and see if we can't get something good happening. The white team has the ball. They are going to make a shot on goal, maybe. They're going to work the ball around a little bit. He's going to bring it back out again. Now he's going to go one-on-one and take the shot. That looks like, even though it wasn't a good shot, we'll go ahead and take a 10-second clip of that, and then we can make that clip go live right there immediately. And within that clip, if we want to, we can change camera angles. Well, I guess that clip went through too quickly, but let's go back and we'll run the clip again, and we can change camera angles on the fly. And as the clip runs all the way through to the end of the rebound, we can slow the speed down. We want to slow it down to 50% and go back and take a look at the other camera. Maybe there was a foul on the play there somewhere. We can even reverse direction and have it go backwards for a second, just to see what did the ball do. And then, of course, we can go back to the live action, which in our case was this screenshot. Yeah, it's really pretty cool. I'm going to turn it off right there because I don't have that much room in my drive. Let's go back for a second. We're going to go to the vMix desktop here, and it looks a little cluttered. Holy cow, does it look cluttered? But let's see if we can't make it just a little easier to see. We'll put me there. Yeah, we'll put me there in the preview. And so here I am. I'm the big guy over here in preview. Over there, that's program, all the way where you can sort of see the infinity image of what's below me. But what I want to do is I want to pull up the instant replay there. Here's instant replay number 65 and number 66. But here in the settings, the little gear icon, I can bring up the settings, and I'm just going to drag this over so that it covers up the output window so it's not as distracting. We can see that I've got 3 cameras, 1, 2, and 3, that are my inputs, 2, 3, and 4, and then I've got cameras 5 and 6 that are my bird dog and my webcam. I've got the ability, which I've already done, to say where are we recording this session. I've got the, let's see, can we delete all? We've got 11 gigs that were taken up by this one, so we're going to delete all. It takes just a second, and then that'll clean that up, and that brings it down to about half a gig of just scratch stuff there. But here I've got my in transition, my out transition, and my event transition, and I can make that one of now up to 4 different stingers. It used to be vMix has 2 stingers. With vMix 24 beta, we now have stingers 3 and 4, so I can do a stinger into it and a stinger out of it, and I can also do a stinger as a transition to an event. I've got the ability to change the audio channel here, and I also have got, you notice down here on the left side, I've got some settings. This is my session, so it identifies my cameras, and then here are my events. I can put a pre-roll or a post-roll on the event. I can enable a double click to play the event. I can sort new events by time, which is what I'm doing, and I can continue playback after events have completed. I can change the ID of an event from a 3-digit to a 4-digit, And then down here, I can name my events so that they mean something besides event number 14. I can identify some background music. I can give some tags. And so this is a quick way to tag a clip so that I know what it is. I can come back and find it later when I want to, or I can find a series of these just by doing a search in vMix and take all of them and send them up to a different event if I wanted to. And then I've got my options to show live sources in replay A and B when in live mode, show a preview of all cameras when not in live mode. We'll do that, and play audio when speed is below 100%. So we've got those options there to do as well. Pretty nifty. It's going to be fun to see this get into the hands of somebody that is a for real replay operator. I know TJ Thompson and some others have been working with vMix on this, and so we'll be interested to see if they have opportunities to use this. And now that it's kind of out into the wild as a beta, it'll be interesting for some of you that are replay operators to give this a try. It may be that you don't take advantage of more than the 4 cameras that you already have, but you certainly would take advantage of having 20 events, the ability to name the events. I think those 2 improvements right there will be a really big deal for folks. All of the vMix replay stuff, I won't say all of it, but a significant portion of the functions of vMix replay are available in the API, which means they're available as shortcuts. So you can program any keyboard that will plug into your PC. You can program any keyboard to do any of those functions, so you don't have to search around with a mouse to find the 5-second clip button. It's really pretty cool. I noticed in the chats there's some discussion about the docking. Let's go back to the desktop capture of the vMix desktop. This is just a window. So I can take that anywhere I want, or if I minimize it with the little minimize button right there, let's go back to the vMix screen right here, and we can see that now vMix replay is docked down here in the bottom right hand corner where the audio mixer would be. So I can click on the audio mixer, which is a green button, or the instant replay, which is red. And this little thumbtack right here allows me to undock it, and so now it's appearing on my second monitor over here as a window of its own, which can be maximized to make it easy for me to see all the different things that are going on. Yep. So there you go. There you go. It's good stuff. Good stuff. Gonna be fun. Gonna be fun. Daniel says replay is in a second window, so it won't be docked. Well, actually, it can be docked. It's like the audio mixer. It can be turned off or on. It can be docked inside of the vMix desktop itself, or it can be undocked and put on a separate monitor. So conceivably, you could have the vMix desktop on one monitor. You could have the replay control desktop on another monitor. You could have a multi-view from vMix of the traditional vMix multi-view, which is input and output, the preview and program, and up to 8 different resources down at the bottom. And then the same thing with instant replay, where you could have the A and B and have your top 8 cameras. So you can get, now vMix will generate, in this case, in this scenario, 4 different screens of video. It's going to be really, really fun. Really, really fun. So, fun. Yeah, it's interesting that vMix will allow you to undock the replay and undock the audio mixer, and it would be nice if you could undock the inputs themselves and put all the inputs up on a monitor of themselves, so that so that you don't have to share that same screen with the preview and program. And as vMix grows and as more and more people use it, and more people with different needs use it, we're going to get, strange requests like, can you undock the clock? Well, it would be nice if everything were undockable, so that you could organize it however you wanted to, or so that you could spread it out on multiple monitors. Really, really cool. vMix is the bomb, no doubt about it. vMix is the bomb. So I think I said it was a deep dive into vMix 24. It's not that deep of a dive into the instant replay, but rather a deep dive into the features that vMix has released. And apparently, in their forum post that introduced the vMix 24 beta, the vMix 24 preview, they said there were features and improvements to replay, and they listed, what looks like 8 or 10 of them, but apparently there are others. So it's going to be interesting to see as time goes on when those are documented and how they're documented. vMix has released the help file for vMix 24, which includes, of course, the updates to vMix Replay. So I'll have to scan through that and see what's new there, and probably would find something in the shortcuts section. If there's some new shortcuts there, it would be nice to see that as well. But that's it. We're going to close out the formal portion of the show and go into the pre-show, so we'd love you to hang around. And if you're like, well, the show was all we need, well, then we're glad you were here. Give us a like on YouTube or whatever that stuff is. We would appreciate it. We'll be back with the post-show in just a second. And we are back for the post show. So let's see, can I get that mouse to stop doing that thing? Yeah, there we go. Well, maybe. So vMix, golly, isn't that amazing? That's just amazing. Golly gee whiz. Tommy says NDI to different monitors in different locations would be nice. Well, Tommy, you can actually do that now. You can run the NewTek NDI Studio monitor. And if you want to run it on different PCs, it will pick up any NDI source on your system. And so it can be anything that you want. So I guess, in theory, you could output just about everything as an NDI output. Although I think right now, your NDI output options are limited to cameras, audio inputs, audio outputs, and vMix calls, and then whatever you determine as your top 4, or really the top 3 outputs that can be any particular input, and then of course your program output. So you've got those categories, but I don't think, like, for example, if you wanted to output the clock, you would have to make it one of your, if you wanted to have an NDI output available for the clock, you would have to make it one of your outputs in vMix, one of the 3 that are available. Does this say pre-show? No, we're in post-show. We're in post-show. Tommy, come on. Stay with me here. Stay with me here. The replay, doggone it, I meant to hook it up. I've got an X-Keys replay controller here, and I wanted to see what kind of changes you might need to make in order to get up to 8 cameras. So we'll have to play with that a little bit. Michael Graves says, 1080p at 240 frames a second, NDI would be a lot of network traffic. You think? Holy cow. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I would send that out. I mean, right now we're having discussions with people about, okay, well, a gig network won't be enough. How about a 10 gig? Well, well, can you imagine 8 cameras at 4K at 240 frames a second? Would a 10 gig network be enough? I don't know. Well, I'm sure somebody's going to figure that out, though. It's going to be fun. It's. I think I did a show. I guess it's been 2 or 3 years ago now, on that we were in the golden age of live streaming, and I think in some ways that was definitely true for that time, but I think that's still true for now. That innovation is happening in live streaming now. Maybe not as much as before. I mean, when Facebook started doing live streaming, that was a pretty important change there when they opened up Facebook Live. YouTube has made a lot of changes to how they do it. There are hundreds of private CDNs out there that you can find if you're having copyright problems and you don't want somebody like some big brother like YouTube or Facebook, looking over your shoulder to flag you and spank you for violating copyrights. There's that, but I think we are seeing a higher level of improvement and innovation. vMix has taken something that already worked really, really well for the price point. 4 cameras for $1,200 plus the cost of the PC, and now have doubled the number of cameras, quadrupled the frame rate. What would that be? Doubled or quadrupled the resolution, and holy cow, it's going to be a unit of magnitude improvement as opposed to just simply a twice as better. It's 20 times better. We're seeing that with gear now. I read this morning of a new Panasonic PTZ camera that is 4K and has output options that include 12G SDI, 4K HDMI, NDI HX, and the way it read, full NDI. So full NDI as a output available from a Panasonic camera. I'm not sure how they're doing that full NDI, whether they've licensed something for New Tech or licensed something from Bird Dog. Will be interesting to see. Would like to get my hands on it. It's only about $7,200, so it's a little on the pricey side. And you would think for $7,200 it would have a pretty significantly sized sensor on it, but I think the sensor is like a 1/2, so bigger than a third but smaller than a 1/2 inch sensor. Comparatively, the Bird Dog, is it the PK4, which is their 4K PTZ camera, has the 1-inch Sony sensor, and of course does full NDI and SDI and HDMI. So, but anyway, it's interesting to see. Panasonic is now kind of blazing into that 4K full NDI territory. I feel really, really good about that, and I'm not a Panasonic fan, but the fact that it's gotten approval, the stamp of approval from somebody other than the initiator, kind of the Bird Dog people. They are the ones that kind of started the ball rolling on that thing, and so now a major corporation has said, we want to play in that sandbox too. So that's really, really cool. I'm thinking that we're going to see some more of that as time goes on, and that's good. Those companies are beginning to say, hey, there's a market for a $7,000 or $8,000 4K PTZ camera that does full NDI. frankly, I think it's the 1080p, the P200, or even the PTZ Optics camera at 1080p. Those are going to be around for a long, long time. I just had a call this morning from somebody in a church that they're thinking this pandemic thing is now is a good time to go ahead and upgrade their video. They've been nursing along. Well, they were nursing along a standard definition system for 13 years, and just recently have kind of cobbled together a high definition system to try to get something a little higher quality out, since everybody was watching their live stream now instead of just kind of a few. And so we were talking P200s, and 1080p cameras, but there was some thought of how can we future-proof ourselves for when 4K becomes more widely acceptable as a primary live stream. Right now, it's anybody that's live streaming in 4K is probably doing it with either YouTube or their own CDN that's re-encoding it down to 1080 or 720 or 480 or some of those others. But really, really gonna be interesting. Tommy says, do you see the cost of PTZ cameras ever coming down? What I see, Tommy, is that and we can thank our friends at PTZ Optics, because they're kind of the value brand and have become a gorilla in a lot of ways. And while their prices haven't come down, their cameras are made in China, so that means that technology is available to anybody that wants it. And so we've got this small cadre of cloners that are cropping up. I mean, the camera looks differently, but it has the same features, and it's available instead of $1,600. You can buy it off of Alibaba or something like that for $800. So we're seeing that kind of price pressure from what I would call the generics. And then what I really see happening more is that the current offering is not being reduced in price, but it appears that they are, because there's a greater value at a higher price, which makes this seem like more of a bargain. So, for example, to do an unfair comparison between the PTZ Optics 30x SDI NDI-HX camera and the BirdDog P200, which they have similar specs, other than the BirdDog has I think they have a Sony sensor, and the PTZ Optics has a Panasonic sensor, and then the PTZ Optics is NDI-HX and the BirdDog is NDI, and there's only about $600 difference between the two of them. So that when you're talking about a $2,200 camera versus a $2,800 camera, $600 difference for two. I think they're significant features difference, because the quality of the Sony sensor is just amazing. But we're seeing that kind of compression in the pricing in some ways, is that it only takes $600 more to get cool better features. Let's see, Haken is asking, any new triggers or script functions? Not that I know of in the replay, but if you go to the vMix forum, to forums, plural, forums.vmix.com, and go to the general discussion section and pop up the vMix 24 preview post, it does give a complete list of all of the features that have been added into vMix 24. And there were some new API calls, some new shortcuts. And so if it's a new shortcut, it may be a new trigger as well. And if it's a new shortcut, it would be a new script function also. So they all kind of pile in together. Let's see. Michael Graves is saying that 4 times 1080p 60 is 600 megs. Is that right? Yeah, that could be right. So 8 of them would be 1200 megs. And, everybody I'm talking to about network switches say, you really don't want to go up more than 50% of your capacity. So a gig switch is really only a 500 meg switch. A 10G switch is really only a 5G switch. Patrick says an underrated feature is being able to split off the A and B channels with 2 separate controllers. It means you can give A to one operator and B to a different operator. That 8 inputs is really too much. Well, Patrick, that's just because you're a weenie. No, I'm sorry. I'm teasing. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm teasing. I mean, it would probably be the rare, very skilled individual that can handle 8 cameras. Yeah, for sure. Andres is here. Welcome. Glad to have you. Tommy says, plus with PTZ Optics, you get post-sales support from Tom Sinclair, win-win. Well, you get that from anything that we have available. You get that from us for the Bird Dog products as well as the PTZ Optics products. And we do kind of class those differently. It's not a fair comparison. Yeah, man. Daniel says, he's talking about Wixton, about the magenta. Okay, got it. There you go. Let's scroll down and see what we might have missed here. Anything? Let's go back a page. Giles says, I guess you want 1,000 frames per second too, huh? Oh, that's funny. If you guys haven't been following, Giles has been hunkered down and with this project called Automation for vMix, which basically takes vMix and makes it an engine to run an entire pre-programmed automated TV station. So if you haven't seen it, you want to take a look at that. Just Google Automation for vMix. It'll pop up. You can go to YouTube. He's got some videos on it there too. Definitely really cool stuff to take a look at. Yep. Michael Graves says you can hear network truck guys talking about Elvis since the leading slow motion server was from a company called EVS. Yeah. And very interesting that vMix is being compared to EVS. Yeah. Tommy says, Giles, you're right. The days of one person, one computer are gone forever. Tommy. No. I have got more people now interested in doing their own personal live streams than ever before. What happens is, of course, is that we start like that. We start one PC, but I had a call from a local, how would you describe them? They're not really a TV station, but they're the TV network for a very, very large school district. And they have an old, you're going to love this story. They have an old bookmobile, a library truck that was out of service. And so they have repurposed it as a OB van. And everything in there was vMix except their switcher. So they had vMix for replay, they had vMix for video, they had vMix for graphics, but they were using a hardware switcher. And they wanted to put a fourth system in there that would be vMix with a hardware control surface. And yeah, they're doing multiple vMixes, but they didn't start out that way. I mean, I just before the show was talking with a representative from a local high school, and they have a single system. In fact, they want us to build them a new one. They have a single system that does multi-camera, does instant replay, does graphics and video clips and live streaming and recording, and that's one PC operated by one person. And it's kind of simplified the processes, especially the replay. But Tommy, I think we're going to see that more and more and more, because people that haven't been doing anything are going to say, yes, I can do something. And they may be, 3 or 4 years after that, they get into a multi situation. I mean, how many people that can I count? Probably at least on 2 hands of people that I know started out with one vMix PC, and now they have not just more than one, but they have a van or a trailer that they've built that has multiple systems in it. And they just, it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's the beauty of vMix. I mean, I'm a vMix guy. There's no doubt about it. That's the beauty of vMix, is you can start with one and you can do just fine with one, or you can begin to hook them together. And so you get this vMix cyborg. Anyway, sorry about that. I've had too much lemonade. What can I say? Oh my gosh. Oh, let's see. What did I miss on comments? Let's see. Dean says, Tom, other than price difference, what is the difference between the P100 and the P200? Aha. Yes. What is the difference between the P200? Oh, primarily, I would say primarily is the zoom. The P100 is a 10x zoom. The P200 is a 30x zoom. And the P100, I don't think the image on the P100 matches the P200. So I don't think it's like they took a P200 and just put a lesser lens on it like they did in the PTZ Optics line. PTZ Optics, the 12x, the 20x, and the 30x are the same camera with just a different lens. So with the P100 and the P200, they're definitely they're not the same shape. They don't have the same feature set. But I'm doing a P100 right now, and I love it. I think it's going to be a great little studio camera. And for $1,500 for a full NDI camera, that's PoE and and all those things. I think it's a great fit. Again, it's a great fit for its design in the market. There you go. Tommy says, sorry, Tom, you're right. I'm still doing my live streams with just me and my computer. Tommy, so am I. And I'm just using one computer and one person. Of course, I might have people call in sometimes. Yes. All right, let's see. Patrick says, I'm working with a school system that recently bought 3 vMix machines, 2 for mobile multi-camera production and 1 for the Fine Arts Center. Students are producing 4 camera games. There you go. We just shipped one of our small portable systems to a school in Minnesota that's going to do student-led 4 camera productions. We've got a replay machine that we're building for another school right now that's going to be, again, just replay. Oh, Jason wants to see Patrick's school's works. There you go. Share the wealth. John, hey, John. John says, and I believe it was just lemonade all this time. Yes, it was. It was just lemonade. So good. Yeah, Patrick, if I don't know that you can post links here in the YouTube. Maybe let me take a look at it on my end. If you want to post a link, I can approve it, and it will come through. So Patrick, if you want to post that link, I'm looking on the YouTube interface right now to see. So I'll give you just a second. I'll continue to monitor that. Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that kind of stuff. I mean, that is one of the beautiful things. That's one of the beautiful things about the community that has grown up around vMix that I think is really outstanding, not just in its nature, which is kind and welcoming and helpful. Because most communities that spring up around projects or around new products start out that way, but they kind of morph over time to something that's less than that. They lose that kind of warm edge. And you've probably been in forums or groups where if you ask the wrong question, you get flamed. If you ask a newbie question, they're like, well, go look it up. But it's been great in the Streaming Idiots group and in some of the other vMix-centrics groups, and of course the vMix forum, to see a kinder, gentler nature continue in that community. And I just double thumbs up. And I think it starts at the top. It starts with vMix, the nature of the guys that manage that company is that they would rather be colleagues and partners than they would be competitors and kind of confrontational or aggressive in that sense. And I really appreciate that attitude, and I think that's a great way to number one, to run your company, but a great way to model that attitude for others. And we can see that it has been, that's not to say that people don't act out now and again, you can put me on that list too. I may look grown up on the outside, but don't let that fool you. But to see a whole culture kind of grow up around the company that is supporting and encouraging, and I'm just, I love that, and I want to do all I can to support that. So yeah, I don't know how we got onto this topic, but yeah, we definitely want. Patrick, I'm going to keep an eye out for your link here, but I'm going to switch back to this view for just a second. Brian, hey Brian. Brian says, what is one vMix feature they could have added? Brian, there is a whole section of the vMix forum called Feature Requests that has hundreds, if not thousands, of ideas of what people would like to see added to vMix. And if you have a killer idea, that feature request section of that forum is the right place to do it, because that's where vMix goes to get their inspiration. Now, they may not do it exactly as it is suggested, but that may trigger in them an idea for something that's just as good or even better. So if you have a great idea for vMix, share it in the vMix feature request section of their forum. That's forums plural, forums.vmix.com, feature requests. And you may want to check through the feature request section, kind of do a search, or else kind of read back through and make sure that what you're thinking of it has not already been suggested by somebody else, because it's not that they don't want you to suggest it again, but if let's say Michael Graves has made a great suggestion, and I'm sure he's got plenty of good ideas, and he posted maybe 2 years ago of a feature. People are discovering that feature, or maybe just today they're discovering a need for that feature, and they'll go and they'll say, oh well, let's add that to the vMix forum, to the feature requests, and then they say, well, let's see if somebody else has posted it, and they'll go back and they'll find Michael's post, and so they'll add a +1, meaning me too. And vMix is really kind of paying attention not just to the idea, but to the me toos also. And the more me toos something has, the more they're going to pay attention to it. That's how, what was it, vMix Call came about. Somebody suggested that, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. And Martin Sinclair said, technology's not mature enough to handle it. But people kept discussing it, keep saying, yeah, they wanted it, keep saying, yeah, they wanted it. And finally there was a kind of a meeting of the technology level and the desire level, and vMix Call was born, and pow, it's been a stunning feature, and for the last 9 months has been probably the one feature that's brought more new users to vMix, is the ability to have a built-in Skype caller, actually up to 8 of them. I can't tell you how many customers of mine that are names that you would recognize in the broadcasting industry are using vMix and vMix Call to handle what they would normally have done in studio before. And now they're doing it either in the cloud or doing it remotely. Just keeping an eye out for Patrick's link here to make sure that YouTube doesn't disaster it. But he said, me pick one off the top of my head. Okay, well, what feature would I like in vMix? They already have voice control, which I can't make work because I talk too much and say too many words that sound like other words. And so, yeah, I had a show where I used voice control one time. It was hilarious. I have to go back and look at it. But what feature in vMix would I like that I don't have? I think docking, the ability to dock different things in different places. I would love to be able to take all my inputs and dock them on a different monitor. Yep. In fact, I would like the ability to build my desktop for vMix any way I wanted to, because having a preview window the same size as having the program output window doesn't do well. The only time I use that is when I use the preview window to keep an eye on the chat during a show. So I probably still use it for that matter, but I remember back in the old, dare we say it, back in the old VidBlaster days, the entire interface was all dockable. And that was a pretty cool feature. But the beauty of vMix, one of the beauties of vMix is that it looks like things that you're used to. It's got preview, it's got program, it's got a little T-bar on there. Yep. Tommy Willis says, I believe Tom's lemonade runs through copper tubing into tanks located in the backwoods. Tommy, believe it or not, I am this way naturally. Can you imagine what I would be if I had moonshine? Oh, golly. Yeah, USA BMX is saying, going to have to configure my replay controller now. Well, that's because you're going to get something better. Yeah. Amnon is here, Nissan Communications. Welcome. Tom, what is one option of vMix that will turn one against using it? You're a bad man. I'm teasing, of course. Amnon is an old friend who's bailed me out of trouble more than once in the past. Not out of jail, but just out of trouble. Yeah, I don't know. I think vMix is I know one option. You've got all the people that are OBS users that say they don't like vMix because it's not free. And then you've got all the TriCaster users that say they don't like vMix because it's too cheap. So go figure on that one. Tommy uses vMix Call every weekday morning for the morning devotional. There you go, man. Kicking it. John says vMix kept us going, turned around from in studio to remote overnight. There you go. With help from Tom to upgrade us so quickly. Oh, well, of course. Yeah, that's what we do. Litopia says, just checked out the new feature list. Not a lot for us, sadly. Disappointed there's no move towards collaborative production, i.e. distributed production controls outside of, and I lost the rest of your comment. I'm sorry. That's interesting because I think vMix is pretty actively resisting that, at least at the cloud level. vMix is intended as a local-based PC, although I could name you more than 10 people that are operating vMix in the cloud on a AW2. We might see that. We might see that. You might be prophetic in that. Bruno says, Tom, I don't know if this is the right place to ask this. In vMix Call, when I connect my mobile phone in vMix, it shows a black and white picture. How did you get that? That's cool. And I don't know why. Well, I don't know why either. But that's interesting. A black and white picture. I would love to see that. I would love to experience that. Interesting. Patrick said, all right, have you posted a, let me go back here and see if there's a link that we've got to, no, I don't see a link that I have to approve. Okay. So let's see. Patrick says, info about the school production, 3 to 4 cameras, TYST switcher, 1500 Surface, X keys, replay, Stream Deck for titles, Scorebug and CDM through Blue Frame, 7 student crew. There you go. Amnon says there isn't. Well, you just, oh, Michael Graves found one. vMix doesn't run on Mac. There you go. And Latopia's got an answer from Giles. One of the features of automation for vMix is to enable collaborative remote production and to help keep it possible to do one PC. Well, that's interesting. Giles, I'd love to have you expand on that some more. Link is posted. Okay, let's go see if we can find it and approve it. Link is posted. Don't see it. Don't see it, don't see it, don't see it. Can you post it again and I'll be right on top of it? I think it fades away pretty quickly if or you might have to put some spaces in it or something like that. I don't even think I've got the ability to turn off and on links. Yeah. But Patrick, if you can have another go at it, I'll sit on top of it right here while I read these on a different screen. Must not be making it to you. No, you're right. Try some spaces. Try spelling out the word dot or something like that. Jason says, sorry for the hassle. Jason, are you hassling us? I don't think you're hassling. I'll look back to your comment here. No, I don't see a comment. Well, guys, I got to fold up this tent because I got some PCs to build here. But loved having you with me today. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hope you got something out of it. If I can help you in any way, you know how to get me. You can find me in the Streaming Idiots group. You can find us online at easternshorebroadcasting.com or in just about anywhere. So I wish you the very best. If I don't respond right away, don't be offended. I'm about 4 days behind in responding to some emails and voicemails and text messages. So I would love to still help, but I apologize in advance if I'm not right there with you. So we're going to let this run out for just a bit so it doesn't cut you right off. But I appreciate you. Thank you for your interest in what we do, and keep on live streaming. We'll catch you later.